Hey, North Pointe family, thanks for joining me. Hey, today I want us to think about the Old Testament prophet Elijah for just a minute. You know, in 1 Kings 18, he has an incredible work of faith. He challenges 450 prophets of Baal. Hey, you get your altar, you call on your gods, I'll call on mine. You can read it. But the long story short, God comes through, shows himself to be the true God, and the 450 prophets of Baal are slain. 1 Kings 19, Queen Jezebel said, you know what? If you're not dead within a day, I'm going to be dead. It's a threat. And all of a sudden, Elijah runs. After this great act of faith, he bails. Well, he ends up in a cave. 1 Kings 19:9, it starts through about verse 18. And the first thing God says, hey, Elijah, what are you doing here? And they have a conversation, but twice in the conversation, Elijah says, I'm all alone. There's no one else worshiping you. And God says, you're wrong. I've preserved 7,000 prophets who have not bowed the knee to Baal. What's my point? When we feel alone, we lose perspective. We stop trusting God. You know, in our culture, it's easy to be disconnected. It's easy to be alone. So I've designed 3 studies for you to do with a spouse, with a friend, with a roommate, whoever. I picked 3 topics that are, I think, of interest. One, the term messy people. You know, God is about redeeming messy people. We seem to forget that. But I look at 4 people that were messy that God redeemed. Then I take on the subject of fear. That seems to be always an interesting topic. God says, number 1 command to his people, do not fear. Out of the book of Isaiah, 4 studies on fear. Last one is from the book of Habakkuk, and it asks the question, why? Habakkuk looks at a culture that is filled with, in his words, violence and injustice, and asks why. So here's what I want to ask you to do. I want you to go to our website and find the tab, and it will be prominent, and it will say, Grow Studies. Click on that. Find 2 or 3 people that you want to do this study with, and decide, where do you want to do this study? Maybe if it's a friend or something, you're online, you're going to a park, you're going to a coffee shop, you pick. Then pick one of those studies. Decide which one you guys want to do. You know what? At max, they're 3 or 4 weeks. Each study has a list of questions for you to go through, and you can think through those studies. At the end of 4 weeks, decide, was this worthwhile? Is this something we'd want to do again? Do we want to pick a different study? Do you want to pick a different set of people to do it? Here's our hope. We don't want people feeling alone. We want them feeling connected in Christ. We have designed these studies that you might connect over God with others. We hope that you'll continue to grow as you use these Grow Studies.